And there you have it. There you have it. So I'm going to start over. This is what happens in live streaming. I am going to start over, and then we will do it again. Check. Hello, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about a really interesting mindset about never minding the results. The title of this show.
Hello, welcome to the show.
And just to kind of pause that, welcome. I'm so happy to have you with me. Welcome to the #1 YouTube live show about growth mindsets, mental training. We don't talk enough about this. I am your host, Professor Nez. You know me as author Peter Nez. I'm a teacher, author, speaker, social media nut job. We are going to get into today's show. It looks like the audio and the video is coming in really well right now. I have my laptop in front of me, so I do not, I do not want to just keep, talking and keep on my kind of end. I want interaction, so if you have any questions, any concerns, any comments, I would love to take them. I can't wait to bring it to you today. I'm very, very, very excited. So excited that I'm jumbling and mumbling. I've had about 19 cups of coffee. Maybe I'll cut down to 15 before next show. But I am very excited to have you. Today's topic, never mind the results. Today's topic of Mindset Live. And please, before we get started, please make sure you click on that subscribe button and then hit the notifications, because every single time that I go live, every single time that I pop a video that has, anytime I pop a video that has, anything to bring that has value, such as, I do a lot of communications. I'm a professor, so I do a lot of communications. I do a lot of videos on writing, public speaking, what context to communicate in. And my Mindset Live show is all about working on growth mindsets. My Mindset Live show is all about bringing to you some experiences that I've had dealing with the #1 thing that I think gets in every single individual's way, in every single genre imaginable, and that's this dude right here. If you look at all the top athletes, if you look at every single successful individual in any criteria, but let's just take, for example, just put it in context. Let's take, for example, athletes. The top 5 athletes in every sport: basketball, tennis, football. Let's go with tennis, because I love tennis. If you look at the top 5 athletes, the top 5 tennis players in the world, physically, there's absolutely no difference. I mean, there might be minor nuances. One individual's better at defense, one individual has better movement forward, or one individual may have a little more power in their forehand, little nuances, but physically, their endurance, their stamina, not much different. You know what separates the best from the rest? This dude right here. That's what separates the best from the rest. And I don't understand it. Everything that I do in my classroom, it seems that the #1 response, everything that I do in my classroom, it seems to me that the absolute common denominator in people being uplifted, in people being moved, in people being inspired is the kind of conversations that I have about this guy right here. And that's what this show is all about. Adopting healthy, productive mindsets so you can be the most successful you, reaching your maximum potential. Because I don't think there's absolutely anything that is more tragic in the human kingdom than not reaching your potential. So, without further ado, let's start the show. So what do I mean? What do I mean by never minding the results? What does that have to do with? And again, if you're watching, and I can see that some of you are watching right now, if you're watching, please feel free to ask some questions, and please feel free to interact. I've got my laptop right here, so I'd love to hear from you guys. What does Professor Nez mean when he says never minding the results? What could that possibly mean? Never minding the results. Well, I think, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this as well. I'd love to hear your comments on this. I think that we get too entrapped with the productivity, the notoriety, the response of the whether it's business or whether it's something that you're passionate about, or friendships or relationships or jobs. We're too, so for example, for jobs, the money, is the money worth it? Is the result going to warrant me continuing to do this? Is what I, is it even worth my time? Is it even worth my, never mind the fact that you even investigate, and that's what this show is all about, self-investigation, emotional intelligence, understanding who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, it doesn't make sense to do anything. How can you decide on anything to do if you don't know who you are? So this is, again, about a little bit about self-investigation, and I wanted to talk today a little bit about this concept. So if you just endeavor on something, or if you just choose to do something based on what the benefits are, not to say that that's not important, but if you're solely so focused on the results of your actions, on the results of your connections, on the results of your relationships, on the results of your content you put out on social media, for example, if all you care about is the amount of followers you get, if all you care about is the amount of likes you get, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to drive yourself nuts, because that is something that is really completely out of your control. You cannot control things that, who's going to like you, who's going to not like you, who's going to follow you, who's not going to follow you, who's going to buy your product, who's not going to buy your product. I mean, there's certain things that you need to do, and this is the title of this show in no way undermines strategy. Strategy is very, very important, and looking to other people who've been successful at what they're doing, looking to other people to be moved and see how their results are really something powerful and something engaging. I'm not saying that. The title of this broadcast in no way bespeaks that or undermines that in any shape, way, or form. I'm simply saying do it. Just do. Worry about the things that you have control over. And what are the things that you have control over? How you execute, what you execute, who you are, what you want to do, the actions that you take, the decisions that you make. That's what's in your control. How, that's perceived, how, that's going to be responded to, and how it's going to be leveraged, or how other people, other organizations, or other entities are even going to base their kind of opinions, is really out of your control. Like, for example, me, I am doing this YouTube live stream show. I love doing it, and I'm going to do it. And the fact that I even have one listener, the fact that I even have 2 listeners, is just a miracle to me. It's a miracle to me. I mean, I love that. And, I'm going to keep doing this because I love inspiring. And yes, the responses, the engagement, the amount of enthusiasm that I hear and see is something that really keeps me going, and it drives me. I call my tribe Nez Nation all the time. And, I'm a member of that tribe. There's no leader. There's no CEO of Nez Nation. And I love my Nez Nation. I love the kind of insights and the intelligence and the passion and the creativity and the love. And I want to create something beautiful moving forward. I want to create a revolution in education. I'm an educator at heart. I'm an inspirer at heart. I'm an author and storyteller at heart. And so this is my way of telling my story. This is my way of sharing. And I want to bring it. I mean, bring it. And I'm very, very fed up with education right now. I'm fed up with the dinosaurs. who are living in 1935. They don't have a 21st century mindset of who the audiences are, how to cater to millennials, how to make education scalable, how to make education real world application, how to make it apply to the shit that's actually happening in the real world. I'm very, very passionate about that, and I'm going to keep bringing it. Now, whether nobody listens to that, or whether a few people listens to that, or responds to that, or engages with that, is really something that if I just focus on that, results are important, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying completely deny, because you can learn from that. If you really care as much as I do about reaching as many people as possible, you can learn a lot from that, okay? It's a great, great tool. But if that's all you're focused on, some people live their whole life a sham. Some people live their whole life. Hey, Roger's in the house. Roger Ta, thank you for joining, Roger. Please share this, Roger, with your social platforms, if you will. That'd be great. And let me know if you have any questions. So we've got Roger in the house. If that's all you care about, if that's something that is just your main focus on being liked, your main focus, are people going to like the way I dress? Are people going to like my sense of humor? Are people going to like my personality? If you're just focused on the results, are people going to like my books? Are people going to like my, my product? Are people going to like my content? If you're just basing everything on those results, if that's all you focus on, you're in a world of hurt. Because, people are people. People are fickle. People have varying, multi-billion, innumerable, things going on in their head at any given moment. Did you know that we have 1 trillion neurons snapping in our brains per second, and about 500 billion neurotransmitters that are constantly pinging? That is a mainframe computer that we can't even fathom. That's why I think this show is so important. That's why I care so much about this. Because I've been stifled. I've been completely ramshackled by this dude that lives inside here. And I think that this show is really something that I really hope will at least help elucidate, or at least help kind of clarify some different ways and tactics that have worked for me, that have worked for other people too. And I always say, test my stuff in the real world. Don't just listen to me. Don't just take what I say for gospel. Test it. All of the tools and all of the concepts, they're just tools and concepts if they're not experienced. If they're just intellectually understood, I don't want to do anything intellectual. That's not my goal. I've lived in the intellectual world long enough. I want experiential. I want you to experience these things and confirm them for yourself. Have the conviction to confirm them for yourself, these mindset tools. You just do you. You figure out how to be the most productive, the most creative, the most passionate, the most enthusiastic. You do you. And if you can gamble on people saying negative things, if you can gamble on people saying positive things, or if you rest your entire bankroll on that, you're going to go broke. Because there's no way you can please everyone. You just can't. And if all you're doing is focusing on results, you're going to be in trouble. If all you're doing is focusing on results, you're going to be in major trouble. Okay? So it's very, very important that you, I think it's very, very important that you do the best you can with what you got, and you just focus on the things that are in your control. You cannot control the results. You can't. You can influence the results. And what is the number one variable? To me, the number one variable is how much you care. The more you care about you and what you do and what you're putting out, let's say it's blogs, let's say it's video, let's say it's books, let's say it's design, let's say it's software, anything, let's say it's a new medical practice that you want to open up. If the more you care about it, the more that you're passionate about it, you're going to influence those results way, way more greatly than any other tool or any other contrived sort of template. You got to care. You got to care. And how do you discover? Self-discovery. That's what this show is all about. Self-discovery. How do you discover what you care about? How do you discover what you're passionate about? How do you discover what you're enthusiastic about? Never mind the results. Never mind the results. It's so funny. I mean, the more you kind of claw away, the more that you kind of care about, how's this coming off, or how am I going to get more and 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 more people, more followers, more customers, more patients, more and more and more. The more you just focus on that kind of aspect, it's so funny. It's almost like the universe kind of responds, and the universe, really gets almost turned off by that kind of mindset. At least in my experience. Again, this is all my experience. I'm sharing my expertise. I'm sharing my sort of kind of approach, my sort of perceptions on this topic. And the more that you focus inward instead of outward, right? This is about internal validation versus external validation. The more that you focus inward, the more that you just try to do you and just go all in on you, the more that you just focus on the things that you can bring to the table. It's funny. I hate to sound cliche or field of dreams, but you build your building and the tribe will come. Build your building with the best tools, the internal tools that you have. Build that field and they will come. Create it. Create something powerful. Create something passionate. And the results will take care of themselves. They really will. Again, I want to kind of sort of, asterisk this. Not to say you don't care about, or you don't focus on strategy, or you don't focus on tried and true methods of creating value and engaging people and, gaining more sales or gaining more followers or gaining more product developers or gaining more customers, clientele. There's definite strategy and there's definite strategies. But I'm saying if that's all you're focusing on, if your expectation is, I will just create anything and they will come, you're in a world of hurt. You're in a world of hurt. Focus on what it is that you want to do. Focus on what it is that you want to create. And you be the Michelangelo, you be the best Michelangelo that you can be. I mean, anybody, anybody. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You will not create anything of value if you don't care about it. So for example, the real apex of this show, the crutch of this show, never mind the results. If you're just in the game of, well, I'm going to just search for something. So for example, in my graduate, kind of courses, there were people who actually wanted to become an author, actually wanted to become a teacher for the money. That's the only reason they went into it. They literally just said, I'm going to be the next Stephen King, I'm going to be the next George Orwell, I'm going to be the next, Hemingway, and I'm going to make a boatload of money. They didn't even like writing necessarily. They didn't even care about writing. They weren't even passionate about the written word. They weren't passionate about storytelling. They weren't enthusiastic about creating a narrative. They were just in it for the results. And I have never heard back from those people, and you don't see those people everywhere. And I'd say for the most part, now there are exceptions. I'm sure some people have been able to kind of game the system, but I think that's still short term. I think that your audience, don't undermine your audience. I think your audience is going to be able to see right through you. If you don't care about what you're doing, if you're not showing at least, forget passion. Let's just throw passion out of there. Forget passion. I mean, that's a bonus. But if you don't care, it really shows. It's so transparent. time and time again, I've come across individuals, speakers, teachers, instructors, social media strategists, authors, business women and men, politicians. If you don't care, okay, it's so obvious. Your audiences can smell that coming a million miles away. You have to care, at least, at the very least, show some concern, okay? Forget passion. Maybe passion is too much. I'll be willing to admit that. Maybe passion is just too much of an ask. Maybe it is. I don't know. But this is what I think. This is what I truly, truly believe, okay? You gotta show that you at least care about your audience. You gotta at least show that you have their best interest in mind. You've got to at least show that what you're doing breathes a little enthusiasm. What you're doing breathes a little bit of interest, just a little bit of interest. So if you're just focusing on the money, if you're just focusing on, oh, if I do this, I'll get this many people to like me. If you're going to live a life of fraud, and there's nothing uglier. There's nothing uglier than living a life of fraud. I mean, why live a life of fraud? It's complete lunacy. It's complete insanity to do something just based on this imaginary result, to do anything just based on this perceived notion that this is what I'm going to get out of it. Forgetting the process, here it is, here's where it is. Completely negating the process, negating the journey, negating, what it takes to get there, and only thinking about the destination. That's really what this broadcast comes down to. That's what the title of this show. Let me put it up there again. Never mind the results. Your favorite author, Peter Nez, Professor Nez. I'm actually kind of going through a little bit of a branding change. I wonder if you can see my handle down there, at Peter Nez Author. And maybe I can just take a few minutes to just talk about this very briefly. Any questions at all too? I'll take some questions in just a little bit if anybody has any questions about this topic. What do you mean by never mind the results? So I'm going through a little bit of a branding kind of shift. And those of you that, are my Nez Nation tribe, those of you who follow me and those of you who've watched the show and watched me on Snapchat and Periscope and other places as well, Facebook Live, you guys know that I've put out a kind of contest to Nez Nation because you guys are some of the most creative bunch of lovable tigers out there. And I mean, I can't even imagine. I love each and every one of you guys. You guys are just awesome, Nez Nation. What a beautiful cacophony of creative revolutionists out there, Nez Nation. Hashtag Nez Nation. I've put out a call and I've already gotten about 4 or 5 beautiful designs, and I'm looking forward to more because I'm thinking about changing my entire brand. I am absolutely fed up. I am so fed up with education. I'm so fed up of the bureaucracy. I'm so fed up of the politics. They're trying to put a ceiling on me. They're trying to put a lid on this. How do you put a lid on this? Impossible. Not gonna happen. The only way that I can do what I do is if I be me. That's the only way that I can do what I do. You can't put a ceiling on a volcano. Are you kidding me? You can't put a tarp over Mount Everest. Impossible. You can't put a canopy over the Grand Canyon. You just can't do that. So I'm absolutely fed up. So I'm going to be creating this online course regimen / academy where I am going to be in your living room. I'm going to be everywhere you are, mobile, desktop, what have you. I'm going to be bringing this. I'm going to be bringing this, and I'm going to bring my big old heart everywhere I go, teaching, talking, discussing, learning, communicating. All the stuff that I do at the top universities in the world, all the things that I bring in the classroom, I'm going to bring it to a level that's not only super, super inexpensive and super, super affordable, but it's going to be jam-packed. I mean, it's going to be the traffic jam of all traffic jam. of good, high quality, direct, concise, practical, anchored in practicality learning. Topics such as writing, communications, business writing, public speaking, mindset training, really curated mindset training. And I'm going to leverage all of these tools, all of these social media sites. My YouTube Mindset Live show is not going anywhere. If anything, it's just going to be a nice little sort of complement to those courses. And you know, this is very impromptu. I mean, I have zero script for these shows, and I look forward to people engaging. So the stuff that I'm going to actually put out and hope to monetize, and I'm going to document this journey. I'm going to document this journey. And hopefully you'll learn, because I'm learning too. I mean, here I am. I've been a professor, a writing, communications, literature professor for over 10 years. And I'm going to bring that expertise to you guys at a very, very affordable price. So I'm very, very excited about that. And there's not going to be any lid. There's not going to be any ceiling. There's not going to be any micromanagement. There's not going to be any politics. There's not going to be any BS. I'm going to bring it raw, real, and concise and direct. Okay, straight from the mothership. So I'm very, very excited about that. And let's use that as a real case study right now, just for the next few or 5 minutes. So I'm going to create this, curriculum. I'm going to create this sort of catalog of courses that I'm going to deliver to everybody. I want the whole world to take my classes online. And when I say online, some of you might be thinking, well, Professor Nez, you're somebody who really it really doesn't translate well online. I mean, I really don't know if that's going to work. Nothing is like face-to-face. Nothing is like face-to-face. That's true. And if you've had my class, I know Roger has. I don't know if Roger's still watching. If you have my class, or if you've had my class, there's nothing like a live experience. There's nothing like a live show, okay? And yeah, do I consider it a show? Absolutely, it's a performance, right? I don't see why education can't be entertaining. I don't see why education, to me, can't be creative and can't have this sense of performance. And there is definitely a sense of performance, right? Shakespeare said, we are all actors on the stage of life, right? So the stage of life, we are all players. So there's performance there. Yeah, there's nothing like a live show with Professor Nez. But I'm gonna do my best with the type of technology that we have to make it as visceral as I can through video, a lot of video, through slideshows. And it's just going to be more curated, more organized, more systemic, more strategized, okay, than what I do on YouTube, my Mindset Live show, what I do on my Periscope, and what I do on my other channels. It's going to be a lot more kind of succinct and sort of, maybe if you want to say, maybe even easier to follow. Roger's still watching. Thank you, Roger. Fantastic. So I'm very, very excited about this. I'm very, very pumped about this. So stay tuned for that. So let's use this as a real case study. So creating these courses, creating this catalog, I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it like I've never brung it. Brung it? That's not even a word. But I'm going to brung it. You better believe it. And it's going to come fast. It's going to come. You're going to have your favorite professor in your back pocket. You're going to be able to learn, watch, create, engage, participate, hopefully adopt everything that I bring in my classrooms at the top universities, and so much more. I mean, so much more. I'm going to make it so specialized, customized, and unique. It's going to be unlike any experience. I'm very excited about that. If I focus on just the results, if even my strategy is just solely based on, results, okay? I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, I just want to kind of be clear. Results are important, right? We want to try to come up with ways in which we can get the best out of the things that we do. We don't want to just be productive for no reason with no purpose. Strategy is important, but it's not everything. It's not everything. And I think the best strategy, I think the best result is just going all in on you, doing the best you can at what your passion is, what your enthusiasm is, what it is that you love to do, what your expertise is. And I'm going to document the entire journey. But if I get even a couple of students, which I'm thinking so big, I mean, I want to make this global. If I get even a couple of students, and I truly feel that I'm giving it my all, okay, I'm going to go even more all in on me, okay? I'm going to go even more all in and just try to do the best I can to do me, and just hopefully the results will reflect that. And they usually do. That's what's so interesting. They usually do. The more that you can create something that speaks volumes about who you are, the more that you can unveil what your heart is really, really beating, what rhythm is that beating to, I'm telling you right now, the results will take care of themselves. They really will. You be you. Do you. Just do. Work, okay? Put in the time and energy. And what is the only thing that you can do to put in all your time and energy? What is the only activity, okay, where you can put in your time, you can put in your energy, right, that doesn't feel like quote unquote work, or doesn't feel like at least sweaty work, or you know, just slave labor? Make it a labor of love. That's what's really going to create. That's what's really going to create value. Is make it a labor of love. Okay, that's what you need to do, and that's what's going to create value. So, the more that you love it, the more that you're energized, the more that you want to do it. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. It's going to be unbelievably powerful. It's going to be unbelievably powerful, okay? And you will see the results. The results will speak for themselves. The results are directly related. I would say the results are directly related to how much you put, how much effort, how much concern, how much care you put in to whatever that activity is, whether it's books, whether it's software, whether it's programming, whether it's courses, whether it's a product, a device, a service, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's an entertainment service, or you want to open up a stationery store. The amount of care that you put into it will directly relate and will directly map to the results. So focus on quality. Focus on putting as much into what it is that you love, okay, and the results will speak for themselves. That's what the title of this episode really, really kind of speaks to. That's what the title of this episode speaks to. And I think that the more that I put into what it is that I love, the more that I put into this idea of revolutionizing education. I mean truly revolutionizing. I'm not being fantastical. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not exaggerating one bit. I mean, I truly want to revolutionize education. I want to make it fun. I want to make it enjoyable. At the same time, the most practical, the most applicable, and, you know, the most experiential. And what do I mean by that? I think that most classes, I mean, you ask, ask 90, give me a shorter, I would say 90%, but ask 60 to 70% of college graduates. And I'm speaking about higher education here. High school, forget about it. I don't remember a thing from high school. Ask 60 to 70% of college students, and some of you are college students with me right now watching the show. Ask them what it is that they really retained, what it is that really stuck out, what it is that they learned. And I would be willing to bet the house. I'd be willing to bet the farm. Most of them, most of them probably don't even remember more than 15, 20% of their learning. If that. I would say if that. Most of them don't retain more than 15 to 20% of their learning. I mean, that's even being polite, I think. That's being very generous. So I want to revolutionize that. I want to revolutionize that. I mean, that's just got to change. You're hearing it now. A lot of entrepreneurs, Richard Branson's, the Mark Cubans, the Gary Vaynerchuk's, a lot of people are saying, F school. And I can't say no. I can't say no. I can't, and this is my baby. This is my career. This is what I've been doing for over 10 years. This is how I put food on the table. This is how I make my living, right? I can't disagree with them. I mean, I literally cannot disagree with them. I think that what they're saying is absolutely, valid. I really do. I think it's valid what they're saying and how they're talking about education. And obviously, there's specialized fields, but even like law school or even medical school. I mean, I want there to be more humanness. I want there to be more humanness. I want to merge digital landscape, because I think that there's no way of turning back. I think what I'm doing right now, and how most people are communicating, how most people are interacting, is more in the cyber digital kind of universe, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, especially with virtual reality and other forms of technology kind of taking over. And I literally just want to merge humanness. I want to try to bring more humanness to learning. And what do I mean by that? It's one thing to be a doctor. It's one thing to be a lawyer. It's one thing to be an engineer. It's one thing to be a president or a politician or a senator or what have you. It's one thing to be an instructor. It's one thing to be a professor. There's a lot of technical, there's a lot of mechanical and very theoretical things that you need to learn. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Where's the human side, though? Don't negate. Don't disregard the human side. And what does that mean? What's the human element? Who are your patients? Understand them, talk to them, communicate with them, engage with them. So for example, if you're a doctor, don't just prescribe something. Don't just not care. Care a little bit. Talk to them. Find out what their story is. Find out what's really bothering them. Look at their emotions. See how passionate they are about what's going on. Look at the way that they communicate. Look at the way that they tell their story. Treat them like human beings, not like patients. That's the difference. I think that is just huge. Treat your customers like human beings, not like customers. Treat your patients like human beings, not like patients. Treat your clients like human beings, not like clients. Treat your followers like human beings, not like followers. That's the human element. Treat your students like human beings, not like students. I think that right there just says it all. And the more that you care, the results will take care of themselves. Any questions? I want to open this up to questions. Any questions out there from my viewers? Anything that I can answer? I don't have too much time left. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Mindset Live. I am your author, your host, Professor Nez. Please, if you look at my handle down there, @PeterNezAuthor, go subscribe. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to all my other social channels. And that may change. That may change soon. I'm still wondering about the branding kind of aspect of changing it. I've even just changed it right now on my Mindset Live title, Professor Nez. That may change. That may, go in a different direction. But for now, you can see it down here. Go to my handle right there, Peter Nez Author, and you can follow me on all my social channels. The only social channel that does not have the author in it is my Snapchat, which I have a weekly Snapchat show called Nez on Wheels, where I kind of do the same sort of thing that I'm doing here on my live stream show on YouTube. Talk about all sorts of kind of self-investigative, self-inquiry, philosophical meditations, just life shit that's really powerful, I think, and that really has real, anchored in reality tools. Talking about this dude right here and how I think that is the only, because if the internal ain't right, if the internal isn't right, the external doesn't mean jack. You got to get your internal right, folks. Does Professor Nez have his internal right all the time? Absolutely, capital N-O-T, not. No, I am not perfect. Nobody is perfect, and I'm not here to offer like a quick fix, a quick prescription. Watch Mindset Live, and you'll become this, kind of super brain or super telepathic, telekinesis, mind superhero. No, nothing like that. This is just a conversation. It's a discussion, and I hope it's real, and I hope it's experiential. I don't want it to be intellectual. Can you adopt these tactics? Absolutely. Have I gotten a lot of results from these tactics? Absolutely. Of course I have. I've gotten a ton of results. But if I just focused on the results, if you're going into anything, people, I have so many students. Well, I'm going to be a lawyer because they make a lot of money. Yeah, but do you like it? Do you enjoy law? Are you passionate about law? Because you're not going to make any money if you don't like it, if you don't care about it. Well, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a surgeon. Do you love working with your hands? Do you love healing people? Are you excited? Forget love, forget passion. Are you excited? Does it get the juices going? I'm going to be an author. I'm going to be a storyteller because, being an author, being a storyteller, people like that and people respect that. Yeah, but do you care? Do you care about being an author? Do you care about words? Are you concerned with how audiences perceive you? Are you concerned with giving the best, engagement and value to your audience as an author? Do you have any kind of enthusiasm for the written word? Well, I'm going to be, an entrepreneur because entrepreneurs are self-employed and they have an easy life and and they don't have to answer to anybody. They don't have to. I mean, it's amazing. Do we talk about this in our schools? Do we talk about this in our education? Never mind the results. You just do. You just do you. Find out. That's what this channel is all about. That's what this show is all about. Mindset Live. Discover what it is. Discover what it is that puts locomotives in your veins. Excuse me. Discover what it is that makes you jump out of bed. Discover what it is that you can't wait home. You can't wait to get to it after work. After your job, after your job. Discover. Ask yourself the tough questions. Ask yourself, and they're not really tough, the real questions. What it is that really gets you pumped up. What it is that really just gets you excited, that gets you going, that gets things cooking. That internal cooker. What it is. Dive deep, investigate, probe that, question that. Discover this. It's the greatest discovery in the human kingdom. Find out who you are. And then you just do that with the best of your ability, and the results will usually take care of themselves. Again, I just want to kind of give a little bit of an asterisk to that, not to say that, just F the results, and I'm not going to look at analytics, I'm not going to look at metrics, I'm not going to look at, how people are engaging, or no. That's where the care comes in. That's where the care. But if you're only in it for results, if you're only in it for the money, if you're only in it for the prestige, if you're only in it for the end game, the destination, and the journey means squat to you, it's over. I mean, I would say you're not going to get the kind of results that you're hoping for. You're just not. And please, I would love your feedback on this. Any questions out there? I see a few people tuning in still. You've been with me. I've been on here for almost an hour. I am going to get going here. I'm going to end the show unless there's a couple of questions. I'll give a couple of minutes here to see what kind of questions we have. And very, very excited. Again, go to my handle right here. Go to my handle right here at Peter Nez Author. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me at definitely my Facebook business page, my author page, at Peter Nez Author. Just type that into the search. That's my Twitter handle. My Snapchat handle is Peter Nez, without the author, but every other social channel I'm on. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notifications on YouTube. And every single time I go live, you will get notified. Every single time I upload a video from one of my keynote speeches, you will get notified. I'm going to keep bringing it. I'm going to keep bringing it. And I would love for you guys to join me on this journey. If you're somebody who's thinking about, entering into social media, if you're thinking about leveraging or just creating great storytelling content, or if you're somebody who wants to go into business for themselves or wants to be a solopreneur or an entrepreneur or what have you, I'm going to be documenting my entire journey into that. I've sort of gone from education, having a very set kind of thing, which I'm still doing, by the way, but I want to navigate towards, creating really something, creating a revolution in education, creating, my own kind of venture, my own journey. And join me for that, because I'm going to document the entire thing, not only on Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, what have you, but on my YouTube show as well. I'm going to be documenting the whole thing, and I would love your feedback, and I will respond. I will engage, trust me. Any questions before we get going? Any questions at all before I leave? Okay, so Roger asks, thank you, Roger. Roger asks, yeah, many YouTubers I follow have talked about not looking solely at the results followers. Put out the quality work and content and the followers will organically come. Interesting. Yeah. Who are some of those YouTubers that you follow, Roger? Very interesting. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I think that's great. I love that. I think that's... And why are they talking about that? Why are they communicating about that? Because possibly that's a mindset that is highly, highly effective? Or are they just doing it for shits and giggles? I think not. So I love that. I love the way that you say that, Roger. Very, very good. I don't know about organically come, and I'm not even worried about organically, reaching people. I mean, obviously I want to reach as many people as possible, and there may be some times that I need to go for paid reach rather than organic reach, just to get, that's just practical. That's not just focusing on the results, but that's just practical, right? But, I think that here's really the deal, and here's really the deal with this kind of concept, and I definitely don't want to just kind of be this sort of repeat button. Here's the deal. No matter how much you pay for reach, no matter how much you're concerned with results, no matter how well you put together a marketing campaign, I know, Roger, you have some experience in this niche, in that department. No matter how well or how much money you invest in getting the word out there, if you have a shit product, it doesn't make an ounce of difference. It doesn't make an ounce of difference. And that product can be anything. Whether it's what I do kind of with my different kind of channels and my different kind of endeavors, or whether it's a service, a good, a product, anything, whatever it is, if the product is shit, it doesn't matter how much reach you have. It doesn't matter how many followers you have, because that speaks for itself. So sticking to, but here's the thing, Roger, I wonder if they ask you, or I wonder if they talk about, well, how do I put out quality work? And what is the definition of quality work? Here's my definition. Go all in on you. Here's my definition. This is what this show is all about. Investigate and discover what it is that really gets you cooking internally, what it is that you get really like jump out of your boxer briefs excited about, okay? And just do. Don't think so much, because this guy's gonna get in your way, okay? Don't think so much and do, okay? And then apply the strategy, later, right? Apply the strategy of marketing and leveraging and getting the word out there and what have you. But so what is quality work? I think that the true definition of quality work is showing your audience how much you care, okay, about what you're doing. Whatever that is. Okay, so we are coming to the end of the show. I just want to say thank you, Nez Nation, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I've got much love for you guys, and please, please, please don't forget to hit subscribe. It would mean the world to me. I'm going to keep bringing it. I'm going to keep doing it. I want you to keep doing it. I would love to hear your feedback. Let me know if there's any topics that you want to talk about. I've got a cacophony of different shows that I'm going to keep bringing to you. Spend some time. It's Sunday. It's Sunday afternoon. It's 12 o'clock. Spend some time alone. Discover, inquire, dive deep into you. Spend some time alone. Unplug. Even though, ironically, we're all plugged in right now watching this. But after the show, unplug for a little bit. Go spend some time alone. Go somewhere peaceful. Go somewhere where there's not a lot of noise. It doesn't have to be like the Himalayas. You know what I mean? You don't have to do this kind of stuff. It can be your room, or it can be the beach, what have you. Go somewhere and just really spend a little bit of time. Maybe write down a few things. Write down, what are some things that I just really, really feel speak to me personally? What are some things that really kind of I identify with? What are some things that get me pumped, get me excited about life? And really ask yourself questions. How can I turn this into something? How can I create something out of that beautiful interest? Investigate. Dive into the internal. Because if the internal isn't right, the external doesn't mean jack. You gotta get your internal right. Find out who's underneath, who's inside. Don't listen to this guy. Find out what is truly in your heart of hearts, what it is that you want to do. This thing is so short. It goes by like that. You're going to blink and you're going to be 70, and you can't look back with woulda, shoulda, coulda. It's just too late. So please heed this call. I would love your feedback. I would love your insights. I want to learn from you, hopefully just as much as you're inspired and getting something out of this show. I hope to God you're getting value out of this show. And I'm going to keep bringing it. I'm going to keep bringing it. And I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to really show the stuff that I really, really care about, and the experiences, the trials, the falling short, the failures, the successes that I've had. I'm going to document the entire journey, and I hope you get something out of this. So Nez Nation, I am signing off. Please subscribe and get the notifications. YouTube, go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. This is Mindset Live. This is your favorite host, your favorite author, your favorite instructor, your favorite speaker, Professor Nez, Peter Nez. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and stay tuned because I'm going to keep bringing it, y'all. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Spend some time alone. Investigate. Discover.